Yo, what's up, everybody? It's just Doughboy here. A little spur of the moment thing. I was just sitting back, on my phone, and I'm seeing things. Preferably, I see new music get released left and right. So I say to myself, no script, no nothing, nothing planned, just out the spirit of my heart, off the top of my head. I start thinking, Kanye West album released. The day I'm recording this is August 29th. So it released today on a Sunday. Now with all the antics, all the bullshit, all the different shows and the house on fire and all these different versions of the album and different versions of the song had me thinking. Here on this podcast, me and A Diddy do a lot of going back and forth. We kind of do it like excuse my phone. We kind of do it like a debate show kind of / podcast. Like we speak on our thoughts on music, our thoughts on shit that happens every day, not every day. That's usually how we record. So I wanted to do something different. Yes, me and A Diddy are still here, but this is just something that I thought of spur in the moment. Like, A Diddy don't even know I'm doing this. I'm doing this, and I wanted to bring this to y'all because it's just my opinion. And my true opinion is, when did being a genius and or a creative genius become a circus? Like, seriously, like I need help with this. Kanye calls himself a creative genius, and he calls himself a genius, and he calls himself a god, and he calls himself this person, and he calls himself that person. But really, sit down and think. If you're so much of a creative, what is all the theatrics for? Like, when I first fell in love with Kanye West music, it was, other than his instrumentals, because we all fell in love with the instrumentals. We'll never take that away from him, that he's not great at production. But when I fell in love with Kanye, that's when everybody should have fell in love with Kanye. Most likely it was The College Dropout. An album that had some substance, an album that was quote unquote a biography to his life, whether you believe what he's talking about on the songs or not. But either way, it touched you. If you went to college or had admirations and dreams of college, you got a depiction of his college. Like you have a depiction, like there's a strong possibility this is the way college is. Or this is the way that college life went with The College Dropout. He gave you songs, he gave you emotion, he gave you feeling, he gave you passion, he gave you substance. When it comes to Jesus Walks, when it comes to Through the Wire, rapping it with the plate and the mouth still sewed in and all that, I said whether it came to All Falls Down, it was concept driven. I don't care if it was 50 producers, I don't care who it was. The concept of his debut album was, I'm going to give you the complete Kanye West experience. Like, some of these songs are demo records I tried to use to get signed. Some of these songs are just great songs. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be true and pure to the music. Then came Late Registration. To some, majority of the world, the masterpiece of his collection. Like, the hands down, no debating, the masterpiece of his collection. They think every single song, every single second, every single minute, every single millisecond of that is flawless, unskippable. It goes in the history books. It's one of Kanye's greatest albums. I feel like it's one of Kanye's greatest albums. I feel like The College Dropout is too. We're gonna get to it. But Late Registration came. Late Registration doubled up on the hit records. To me, Diamonds from Sierra Leone verse 2, to me, is one of the greatest rap verses ever. Definitely top 15, top 20. Like, that verse is just magical. He put the ego that he has now, and you mesh that with the hunger to be the best, the hunger to be the greatest, the hunger to be the top tier artist, the hunger to show the rise or the, what's the word I'm looking for? The maturity, the craftsmanship. Like, this is another level. Like, this is another level. Straight up. Like y'all love that College Dropout. Well, let me give y'all the next level of College Dropout. So, late registration to many in the world is like, it's beautiful music. It's beautiful music. I believe Mama's on late registration. Beautiful song dedicated to his mother. You feel me? I believe all of those legendary, what we love from him comes from his second album the most. Like, the first album was really, really good, but the second album is what we love the most from him. All the passion, all the care, all the charisma, all the feeling. That's what we get from the second album. And that's something truly is what made him unique, because he still was able to tap into the fan base he grew when it came to people who went to school. They still could feel what he felt. That's when he brought in the second album is the sororities, right? Kanye's second album, I believe, is the one with the sororities on it, with the five broke and all that. So it was his second album that brought that in. So people who got with his first album, The College Dropout, it was even the evolution of going to school. Like, now you're on campus and you see all of the deltas and the Q's and now you seeing it or whatever. So him even making the parody with the broke people, it was funny because you know what he's talking about. Like, you know what he's going through. Plus, you've been to college, so you know how they say college students are the brokest people in the world. Even though I feel like it's babies, because babies are everybody's broke best friend. But you see the statement now. So he was still able to touch you on that level. And that just heightened him even more. More hit records. Gold Digger on that album. Like, he just kept going. He comes back. Graduation. Now, me, myself, I'm not a crazy fan of Graduation. It is not bad by any means. But I just felt like it was a tale of two stories. Like, half of the album has a dark feel to it. The other half has a happy feel to it. So I just fully didn't grasp the concept of graduation, other than the graduating school part. But other than that, I didn't fully grasp the concept of what direction he was going in. I know that was a rough time. I know that was around the time I believe Rockefeller was doing their breakup. I know that was around the time. No, he started really going through it. Started really going through it. I think around the time Graduation came, him and 50 did the battle. I think defeating 50 Cent and becoming solely the number one rapper on the planet, because remember, Kanye was always falling to number 2 because 50 Cent was number 1. That was his competition. They were 1 year apart, 2002, 2003. They was 1 year apart when they finally started debuting mainstream music for each other, because 50 always was around and Kanye was always around, but they weren't mainstream. So when they finally became mainstream artists, they were the head bumpers, the Jay-Z and Nas, the T.I. and Ludacris. They were the head bumpers. You know what I mean? So once he defeated 50, the plane took off. He was skyrocketing. He was to the moon. And I think that fed his ego. So I love Graduation. Graduation is a good album. I will never say Graduation is a bad album. Graduation gave us some great anthems. Great anthems. I just feel like he didn't fully catch hold of what he was trying to possess from his first two albums, plus going to a new light of Kanye. I just felt like it was good, but it wasn't as great and as passionate as them first two. Even though he had passionate songs like Big Brother and stuff like that, but it just wasn't there. Then we hit. Hold on, I want to get it right. I don't want to mess nothing up. I want to get it 100% correct. I don't want to mess anything up, because that is not me and that is not my style. And mind you, all this is off the head. None of this is pre-made, pre-thought of. This is just something I thought about, and I was like, "Yo, I want to do this." Yes. So after Graduation comes one of my favorite Kanye albums, 808 and Heartbreaks. And to me, this is when Kanye West went from rapper to artist, producer to orchestrator. Influencer, legendary. You can literally say this entire album played a part in hip hop truly wanting to speak with their emotions and getting it across in a melodic way. And this is coming from a man who's not a big fan of melodic music, but the message and the songs, whoever the songwriters was that helped them write it, whoever did whatever that helped them produce it, this right here. And I know in real life he was going through some pain, some heartache, some heartbreak. That's what made it even better. Because not only do we know you're really going through something of this magnitude, you're delivering it to us and we can relate to it. There's not a human on earth that don't have a song on that album. If you're a Kanye fan. If you're not a Kanye fan, then you don't have a song on it. But there's not a human on earth who does not have a song on that album they can relate to, whether it comes to relationships with your significant other, a relationship with your parents. Just the album is based off relationships. You can interpret certain songs however you want to take them. Love Lockdown, Heartless, RoboCop, Paranoid. It's however you want to decipher or however you want to depict the music. I felt like he took his time. I felt like he truly crafted that. I feel like whether the lyrics were true and pure to him, they were true and pure in his delivery. To make you feel like, yo, this is me. This is not track number 3. This is me. This is the passion I put behind it. This is not, oh, Kid Cudi wrote this verse. No, this is me. This is how I feel about this music at this time. This is coming from my heart. This is how I feel, and I resonate with it. I get down with it. I've been hurt on the level he was hurt on that album before by my significant other. I know how that feels. I know what Kanye was going through. You feel me? I know Kanye was getting beat down about that. You know, a lot of people might not like it because this is when Kanye starts to do that transition that leads us more into what we have today, minus the substance. See the point that's missed? It was a lot of substance in this. The way these songs were structured, the way these songs were put together, recorded, mixed, mastered, the vocals for you to feel the pain, the features from Wayne to Jeezy, to the point where the features were even like perfectly picked, like perfectly picked. This is one of Kanye's most perfectly. This is how emotional music should sound. Like he's the reason for the Uzis, the who else? Anybody that does melodic, honestly, no lie. The Uzis, Young Thug, all of them. He's responsible for it because this album right here inspired a whole generation. Like I remember when Lil Uzi Vert was on Hot 97 and they asked him what's his favorite Kanye West beat. And I think he chose RoboCop or Paranoid, but it was off this album. And then he told them, then they tried to clown him and make him freestyle to it. And Uzi was like, no, you don't freestyle to something like this. You sit down and you write and you take your time. You treat this beat like a piece of art. This is not one of those beats you just spit to. And no lie, that's really where 808s and Heartbreak is. That's really what it is. That's truly what it is. There's nothing else but that. A flawless, phenomenal piece of music. And I thank him for that. I thank him for that. Now we get into my favorite Kanye West album, 2010, My Dark Twisted Fantasy. And the reason why I feel like My Dark Twisted Fantasy was it for me, because it was a carryover of 808. Before we even go there, My Dark Twisted Fantasies is what I feel like I feel like it's graduation. The graduation he was trying to make, where he tried to mix the dark with the light, I feel like he mastered it at My Dark Twisted Fantasy. And in graduation, he was just scratching the surface. And he didn't want to fully give you the alter ego because it was his third album. He know you still love Kanye West. So he didn't want to give you Yeezy and all that. But My Dark Twisted Fantasy, to me, it's Kanye West's best album. Best. It gave me every single thing I wanted and loved from him. From the features, to the instrumentals, to the samples, to the topics, to the bars, to the Pusha T, Saha the Kid. I said Saha the Kid, I'm so sorry. Saha the Prince. Jay-Z, Nicki Minaj, Rick Ross, everybody and their mama on Could We Get Much Higher. Everybody and their mama on it. It was just my favorite song on there is Hell of a Life. Because it's just like the way he speak on Hell of a Life is just like, yo, I'm gonna live one hell of a life and you can't tell me I'm living life wrong if you never fucked with the lights on. Do you understand how serious that line is? You're telling me I'm doing something wrong when you are insecure about yourself so you don't fuck with the lights on. It's a hell of a way to get that across, but I got it. Don't tell me I'm wilding when you live in that bubble of safety. Like, sex is sex. Everybody has sex. But you having sex in the dark. What you doing? You doing it. You're not really having sex. So how do you want to tell me I'm living life dangerously when you don't even know what sex look like because you're having it in the dark? I get the analogy, but you see what I mean? The dark, twisted analogies on top of the you could never get on top of this. So mommy, best advice just to get on top of this. You ever had sex with a pharaoh? I put the pussy in the... Come on, man. Now she claiming that I bruised her esophagus, head of the class, and she just want to swallow shit. Kanye never punched like that until this album. The lyrical in and out with the flows, the delivery, the songs that had meanings behind it. The Can We Get Much Higher? I fantasized about this back in Chicago. Mercy, mercy me, that mercy a lago. How you say broken Spanish, me no hablo. You know, it's just like a lot. It's a lot that go into that, man. It's amazing, yo. Like, I am a big fan of my dark twisted fantasy. I think it is a phenomenal piece of work. I do. I really, really do. But now, after that drops, and I listen to it 100 million, 1,000 billion times, we move into Watch the Throne. Now, it's not much I can review when it comes to Watch the Throne because that's not really a Kanye album. That's more of a group, him and Jay, back and forth. So if you don't like it, if you love it, that's a preference. Some people don't like it because Hove on it. Some people, I mean, everything's a preference. So I can't even say that. Kanye West presents Good Music, Cruel Summer. What is it? I think it's called Cruel Summer. Yeah, I can't review that once again. That is another compilation album. You know, for them, you know, this is this is that, this is this is that. I can't. It's what you prefer. Like, it's some good songs and all them shit. I love Cruel Summer personally, by the way. I like Cruel Summer, and I love Watch the Throne. I don't go back to Watch the Throne as much as I go back to Cruel Summer, but I love them both. But that's a group thing. We don't get Kanye again until Yeezus. Yeah, I'm very. Yeah. Yeah, we don't get him again until Yeezus. Let me. I don't know what the fuck Yeezus was. This is when we lost him. Everything he was going through changed him. I remember when Michael Jackson passed away. He said he would no longer be categorized as a rapper because Michael Jackson was bigger than music. Michael Jackson wasn't any genre of music. Michael Jackson wasn't pop, wasn't R&B. Michael Jackson was music. And when he made that statement, I said, oh my God, we lost him. He is no longer going to be focused on rapping. He is no longer going to be focused on the hip hop aspect of the music. He will now solely be focused on becoming bigger than life. He goes to all these other countries, see all these artists, all these billion streamed, billion records sold, all this shit. And some of this music don't have words to it. You look at these techno DJs making $5,000 a night. You're looking at these artists that say about 5, 6 words. You're looking at Coffee Black, Coffee Black. The man who made Superman, I believe his name was Coffee Black. You see them, you know what I mean, making music and making money off music. You see other artists making money off music and there's no synergy or there's no topic, there's no nothing. So what does Kanye do? Production wise, I think this is Kanye's worst produced album. I also think this is Kanye's worst album. I also think this is Kanye's laziest album. I also think this is Kanye's most daredevil album ever. Like, I think he walked in here and just tried something and hope it sticked on the wall. Did he have a vision for it? Of course he did. Did he have a plan for it? Of course he did. We're not going to say he didn't. He definitely did. It just did not resonate. Like, every Kanye album got songs. He's a master of making music. Every single Kanye album ever made has songs. Every album has a song. And I know someone who thinks Yeezus is his greatest album ever. He feels that way because he said it's all about the music. He doesn't care for what's coming out of Kanye's mouth. That's not as important to him as what does the music sound like. By the way, the person I'm talking about, his favorite genre of music is classical to begin with, period. but he doesn't care about any of that. His favorite album is Jesus. Production wise, he felt like it was amazing. And I told him, to me, it's one of his weakest. Yes, he got Bound to on there. Yes, he got New Slaves on there. Yes, he got Can't Hold My Liquor on there. That intro was horrible. I can't even name the other songs, but I don't know what he did with that. I don't know what he did with that. Then the album cover was that weird shit. We started losing him. And I thought to myself, like, yo, maybe we gonna get him back. He started talking all that God shit, started doing all that bullshit. I still had faith. You had faith because you remember when you fell in love with Kanye. And almost every artist in the world doesn't. Almost every artist has a bad album. People feel like Jay-Z has a bad album with Kingdom Come, even though I think the Blueprint 3 is worse than Kingdom Come. I think Kingdom Come is good. I think the Blueprint 3 is bad. But we got that. People don't think what's the other artist? 50 Cent got a bad album. Nas has a bad album, and I think Nas is the greatest rapper ever. Eminem has a bad album. So everybody puts out a bad album. So don't make it seem like when you read this or when you listen to this or whether you watch this, I don't want it to feel like I'm bashing Kanye, like he's the only one that make bad albums. No. Every artist has one of those in a catalog that just ain't really all that. And his is just so happen to be Yeezus. So we at the point of the show where we have to depict the worst shit the man ever made. Sorry. I'm sorry. I literally do not go back to this album at all. The only way I listen to anything from the album is when I'm on like a playlist and something from Yeezy come on. I don't click, and I'm actually about to click the playlist for you. I'm about to click the which one for you on site. I don't even know what that is. Black Skinhead I don't like. I Am a God I don't like. New Slaves I like. Hold My Liquor I like. Blood on the Leaves is okay. And Bound too. Send It Up, I like the beat, but it's 10 songs. I feel like only half the album is worth listening to. So that's 10 songs. That's 1, 2, 3. If you like Blood on the Leaves, that's 4. And Send It Up, I only like the instrumental. It's 5. So, and Send It Up, I don't even like it for the song. I actually like it for the beat. I mean, so that's literally 4 out of 10. That's not a good album. It's 10 songs. You know how many songs I'm skipping? These ain't 4 songs back to back. These are just 4 songs. Now we moving on. Now, mind you, this is just my opinion. If you disagree, I totally understand. But then when we move on with Ye next album was, in between all that goofy shit he was doing, I got to get that out first. Ye next album was The Life of Pablo. Life of Pablo had 20 songs on it. The problem I had with The Life of Pablo, I'm going to say the problem before I say the positive. The negative I had with The Life of Pablo was that is the most over the place album. That is the most mixtape styled album he's ever made. I'm not even going to say over the top or something like that. I'm going to say mixtape. That is the most mixtape styled album I've ever heard. There's no structure. There's no structure. There's no message, which Kanye used to give you. There's no substance behind the album. The production could be better, but it's very, very good at the same time, but it could be better because we can play some Kanye albums that's great. His first 5 albums literally don't have a bad beat on it. Even though I'm not a big fan of Graduation, it don't have a bad instrumental. So his first 5 is flawless. So Life of Pablo was kind of like, Yeezus was so bad that we accepted Life of Pablo because it felt like a breath of fresh air. Like, yo, this the old Kanye. He rapping. The song I love Kanye is how we felt. I miss the old Kanye. So with the soul Kanye, he no longer raps like that. Like, he knows it. He put it in a record that he no longer raps like that. He said, I miss the old Kanye. Speak from the soul Kanye. He even said it on Life of Pablo. Y'all miss the old me, the speak from the soul me. That ain't me. You feel me? So the Life of Pablo for me is good. It's not great. It's not bad. It's not even all right. Because Faded is great. Famous is great. Wolves is great. Ultralight Beam is great. Even though the whole, and if I bleach her asshole, does that make me, that was whack. The Panda remix I like. Like he had some stuff on Life of Pablo. But the update and the new song every week and the basically it was him and his creative box on what's a new way I can deliver my music to you. But at the same time, let me give you something I know you missed. That straight, here's my instrumental with my sample on it. Here go my good hook. Take these beautiful lyrics and let's move on. He does that. He dabbles in that a nice amount. Yes, he does have songs that's like, man, it's that Yeezus shit again. But all in all, the Life of Pablo it was good. I have no true negatives about it. It was good. So then comes Kids See Ghosts, which is, no, my bad. Let me take that back. I'm sorry. All the praise we just did, fam. And he fucks that all up because his next album was Ye. It was 7 songs. Ye is a very good album. I love Ye. Ye is a good album. I go back and listen to Ye. Here's the problem with Ye. First of all, the album rollout for Ye was amazing until he dropped Zoopity Boop Boop Boop, and I was terrified. I didn't know what we was getting when he dropped that Poopity Scoop. Poop, de scoop, boop, boop. I didn't know what was coming when he dropped that. But Ye came out. He dropped it. All 7 songs are good songs. The songs for his daughter is amazing. I liked every single song. I loved Ye. The 7 songs was dope. Then I found out he didn't write not one fucking song. Now, I know people use ghostwriters all the time. I need help with a hook, like 808s and Heartbreaks. I'm perfectly fine if somebody ghost wrote all those songs because those are melodic, melody-written songs. I wouldn't expect him to be able to do that because he can't really sing. He had to use auto-tune. So it was basically, if an R&B artist would have did the album, it would have went in the category of R&B, but Kanye did it. There's only one rap song on the entire album, and that's How Could You Be So Heartless? That's the only song he raps on the entire album. So I get it. But Ye, to be so good and to know he barely wrote any fucking thing, all he did was the production, kind of hurts me because it's like this when he got into that bag we missed. The joint about his daughters and them, this is when we got into that bag and I was like, here we go. This is it. This is me getting Kanye back. This is fully him. And I found out Drake wrote that song, or Partisan Fontaine wrote that song, and Ty Dolla $ign's here, and 070 Shake there, and it's just like Kid Cudi here, and I was just like, yo, here is when the genius or the musical genius is now changing. Like he changed on Yeezus, but it wasn't too bad, even though it's trash. He changed on Life of Pablo, even though it wasn't too bad. It was okay. But the change on Ye was like Yeah, it's all about it's all about the music. Like I want you to be able to play Kanye West music anywhere, everywhere, however you want to do it. Don't matter to me. However you want to do it. And then that's how we got Ye. Ye, it felt like he took his time, but at the same time, you can feel the rushness in it. But it was a breath of fresh air because he wasn't doing all that singing shit. It was just pure. Now, don't get me wrong. I know he was in a very good creative space because he had just did Pusha T. He had just did Nas. So I know he was in the hip hop space. It's just I don't get why he don't want to write his music no more. Like I don't understand it. Like, and if we're gonna take points from Drake, you gotta take points from Ye, man. And ever since he publicly came out with a ghostwriter that writes the raps, you don't get points for none of them songs I like. I found out another nigga pinch a verse just like Drake. Who penned that verse? I can't fuck with it. Simple as that. It's nice, it's dope. He wild on it, he snapped, but he ain't write it. And that's just how I feel. So Ye was welcoming home. It was okay, but it wasn't all that. Like he had too much help. Like he had too much help. I'm sorry, and I just wish he get back to being him. I mean, but he changes his life and gives it to God. I skipped Kids Egos because once again that's a compilation album, even though I think it is a fucking fantastic album. But it's a compilation album, so I can't touch that. He drops the gospel album. Now, I want to know how other gospel music fans feel. Because I'm not a gospel music fan. I don't listen to gospel music. But I just want to know how the jaw feel truly about it. I truly don't have too many words to say about it. I love the Pusha T and Malice song. But I kind of have to stay out of reviewing the gospel because I'm not into gospel. So I can't even tell you what makes a good, pure, authentic, great gospel album because I don't listen to gospel music. Not saying gospel music is bad because Take Me to the King is legendary, but I just don't listen to it, so I can't explain if he did good or if he did bad with the gospel music, if you get what I'm trying to say. Yeah, it was called Jesus is King. Now, we haven't had an album from him since Jesus is King, which was precisely the year of 2019 is when Kanye gave us his gospel album. I know there are a lot of people out here who love his choir. I know there's a lot of people out here who love the music he's been doing for the gospel community. The merchandise, whatever. But I'm saying all this to lead up to I have listened to Donda. I need to give Donda a few more listens before I review Donda. I will be reviewing Donda on the full I Don't Care What You Think podcast episode because by that time I would have listened to Donda in its entirety and I would have listened to it multiple times. So be on the lookout for that. Me and A Diddy. But I have not listened to Donda. I haven't listened to Donda enough to review it. But I will tell you this. I hope when I'm done tapping deeply and truly into Donda, it gives me the feel I miss. Because them antics already got me feeling some kind of way. I can tell you right now, I love Jail, Part 2 and Part 1. I love those songs. They're the same song, just two different feature verses. But I love Jail. And that's all I can give you for right now. But I hope if Kanye fans are listening, if Kanye haters are listening, I hope Kanye's newest album is a memorable one because I haven't clicked play on an old Kanye album past my Dark Twisted Fantasy. I go back to his first 5. The next 3, 4, I don't go to at all. His music is his first 5 albums are timeless. late registration and college dropout is in between 2002 and 2005. It's 2021 at the time you're watching this. I don't know how many years into the future it is. If it's years later, I don't know how many, whatever. But it's 2021 as you watching this. And I still listen to two of his albums that came out between the years of 2002 and 2005. And the crazy part is, none of them fucking albums sound like the time it was recorded. If I put late registration on right now, you would think that shit was made in 2021. If I put on college dropout right now, 2021. 808's Heartbreaks, definitely you would think it's 2021. Graduation, 2021. My Dark Twisted Fantasy, 2021. That's timeless music. Like, this doesn't sound like a year. This sounds like now. Every time I listen, it sounds like now. That's what I want Kanye to get back to. Now, I know life has changed. He's got older. He's going through a bunch of stuff. I get it. I get it. Kanye, I'm the last motherfucker to judge you. But when it comes to that music, what you was known for, what you was loved for, do that shit, man. Don't be out here giving us these antics, doing all this extra shit, man. Squash all that, man. It's all about the passion. That's your biggest problem. Personally, to me, I feel like his passion to make music that's meaningful is gone. I think all he wants to talk about is what he wants to talk about. But the passion to make music that stands with you and you take it with you everywhere you go in life, I feel like that path and that want and desire is gone, never to come back. His passion is somewhere else and it ain't music. So gracefully retire, stop putting out albums and just give us production. And I'm saying this as a Kanye West fan and supporter. Yeah, I don't talk on his personal life with his wife. You know what I mean? Rest in peace to his moms, divorced kids, whatever. I don't speak on that. But if that's what's messing up your mentality, take a break, bro. I'd rather you not be here at all and know you safe and you good than you force feed me some music to make me happy. Yo, if you got to take 8 years off to get your life together, do it. Just when you come back right. Like, come back right. And if you think I'm playing with what I say, I mean what I say. For an example, I'm going to put the dates on here right now. Here we go right here. When Nas had got into it with Jay, he said his mom's was sick or whatever. So he was taking those 2 years away from music to be with his moms. He said, when all that got done and all that got squared away, he said he came back to the music. The next album was Stillmatic. Arguably his greatest album ever, other than Illmatic. So, if you need to take your time, take your time. Now, when y'all listen to the I Don't Care What You Think podcast episode, you'll get my full review, because by then, it would have been a week. Y'all would have heard it. But at the time of this recording, I only got one listen with it, and it wasn't bad. It didn't wow me. But everything gets better with time. So I have to listen to it a couple of more times. But I want to thank y'all for lending me y'all ears and y'all eyes to give y'all my personal breakdown of the artist known as Kanye West and how I felt about every album release he's ever given us. And this won't be the last album breakdown we do. So stay tuned for the next one. I want to thank each and every one of y'all for coming through, showing love. I Don't Care What You Think podcast. IDCWYT _podcast on Instagram. I'm ABrian3422. My co-host is A DIDDY _91. YouTube channel is IDC. I don't care what you think podcast. I don't care what you think _podcast. Thank you.
How much I'ma make on this Monday? I would never know if I'm sleep waking up late. You got two choices on this one way.